what needs to change though? Like Arsenal for next year and going into new season, what needs to change? Is it the manager? Is it the players? You need to get better experience of people like, buying another Man City player or something that has the experience that they know they can push it and get through to the next thing? Or is it just the mentality of everything around Arsenal needs to change? A bit like when Wenger left.
No, I don't think it's mentality around Arsenal. There's an element of like key players being missing from key football matches. We've not had a captain for, I don't know the exact figure, but maybe 50% of our matches this Premier League season. We've not had our actual captain. Saka has been injured. The amount of games these football players are playing is ridiculous.
World Cup coming up, so they'll carry on playing as well. And then playing into the new season again.
If you think ahead, right? Any manager that comes in, let's say Arteta goes and being a manager. Let's say England get to the semi-finals of the World Cup, right? Saka, Rice, they're not starting the first 3 games of the Premier League season next year. So we've got to find a solution to winning games without those two because they'll need a rest. There's no way that they can not have a rest. Saka is still relatively young. Rice is relatively young. They need rests to get them through the rest of next season, right? So any manager that came in, you're looking at those challenges. What happens if Gabriel, Saliba, they all get to the final or semi-finals or whatever? They will need rest. So
that won't be just you, though. That would be everyone in the Premier League.
Yeah, it'll be teams within. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just talking about Arsenal. I'm just saying you could end up playing the first 3 games against teams that don't have that problem.
Also, the problem is if you do get a new manager in, he's going to want to start his best 11 to know how
absolutely
they played. So, like the players that you're saying that might get a rest might be, no, I need to play you to see what you can do.
And then at the back end of the season, they'll be injured.
They're injured again.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying that injuries. The point of us buying these players was to find solutions to the depth issue that we had in previous seasons. So I don't think that us, Odegaard getting injured should have been a problem for us. We need to find a solution to that problem. I think when he came on, when he played against Man City, he was arguably the best that I'd seen him play for a while because he'd just been in and out of the team through injury. But again, I don't want to be that club that goes and sacks their manager, but Arteta's had a long time in charge.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Unai Emery as manager, so people can, you can forget about that thought process around whether Unai Emery had stayed in. What would he have won with Arsenal?
A lot, I think. I think he would have won a lot.
It was not. Honestly, he'd inherited Arsene Wenger's team and what he was trying to transition them into. I didn't like watching him play. I didn't like the idea that we sold our tallest player and then spent half the time crossing the ball in. It wasn't an enjoyable watch under Unai Emery.
But you got to also remember he inherited Arsene Wenger's worst team.
I wouldn't say that.
That was one of us. That was definitely one of Arsene Wenger's worst team. That's the reason he was really sacked.
He wasn't sacked. He
left at the end of it, but he was literally.
That wasn't his worst team.
It was easily one of his worst teams. No. What Arsene Wenger did in 20 years at Arsenal, and then you look at the team.
I just think the other teams around. The teams around got better. I wouldn't say that was Arsene Wenger's worst team.
But they're better than Arsenal.
I'd say that there was a worse team that got top 4 than the team that we ultimately he ended with. I wouldn't say that was his worst team.
Who would you like to see if Arteta is replaced? Who would you like to see come in? Or what type of football would you like to change?
Luis Enrique.
Not going to happen. He's just signed new contracts for PSG to 2030.
It's not the question.
Literally today, though. Literally today. So yeah, that isn't the question. But like obviously you'd like to see Luis Enrique, but I think so a lot of teams who he would choose above you. I think
Luis Enrique, Simeone. I'd love to see Simeone.
It would be the same bloody murder ball like it is at the moment.
It's murder ball at the moment.
It's murder ball.
This is not murder.
You're playing Atletico next week, and it's going to be
murder ball.
Defending for your lives, both teams.
It's not been a good watch over the last couple of months, but it's not murder ball. Then, in world football, I think Arsenal should be going for managers that have won stuff previously.
100%. Especially if you're a team like Arsenal, you need to get that. And that's why Chelsea's lapsed in what they've done.
That's why Luis Enrique, what he's done at PSG from a European standpoint, I think is been really good. And the football they play is really good.
Yeah.
I personally like the idea of Vincent Kompany, trying him out and seeing how he goes. He's new and young, but he wouldn't come. It would be interesting.
Yeah.
To have another Man City, ex-Man City player there who's won.
Yeah.
How much has Vincent Kompany won? Do you know what I mean? As a football player.
And also as the manager now as well at Bayern.
Yeah. Those two, I think, when you look around world football, are playing the best football in Europe against other European teams from other countries rather than necessarily in their own league.
Well, about someone a bit like kind of at normal, Oliver Glasner's available, proven winner, but you only get 2 years before he implodes.
I don't think Glasner would. I don't think he'd come. I don't think he'd be. You know, there's football managers that come to football clubs, right? And football fans are immediately like, "Why have we got him?" And I think Glasner would be one of them. And I think he wouldn't get as much time as somebody else. I don't like that about football management or football teams or football fans. Is I'm not happy that we're not doing this or we're not winning this or we're not, and we don't give managers enough time or we don't give them enough time to show what they can do. Managers can't change everything within seconds of them turning up. Yeah, so I mean,
you need someone for the long run, basically. And I don't think Arsenal can go for someone young again, like they did with Arteta. In theory, was a young manager.
It was his first job as well.
His first job as well. Like, I think you need to now go for someone that's a proven winner, that's won something.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately, I think, what's going to push you over the line.
I think that's what needs to be done. I really hope we don't go for somebody that's not in world football currently, that's been out of the role.
Been out of the game for a while, yeah.
Yeah, I really hope we don't do something like that if we was to do anything, because, I wouldn't, I just don't think that would be necessarily a great approach for our football club. Look, I think I don't like all this sort of like, oh, this person's job is up, let's go for them. So I know there's a lot of like talks of different managers, saying they're not going to carry on. And the ultimate thought was like, well, why not go for them? I used to like watching Arsenal play football, right? And I know we didn't win anything, but I used to just like watching us play and being like, oh, what a great move that. And Arteta did have that, and he does have that, especially in certain parts of the season. But I would like us to not drop the philosophy sometimes, like he has done, and we're just very defensive, or we're just, got to do something for the fact that we've got to win a match, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't got us anywhere.
No.
I would rather we just continued with a philosophy, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We tried it.
You need a plan B at the end of the day, doesn't he? That's the thing.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, Luis Enrique would be my number one, although he has just signed but Arsenal would just buy that out anyway.
Signed it to 2030. It's going to cost you a fortune if you did that.
There might be something in his contract, like if this club comes up for...
Well, it ain't going to be Arsenal, is it?
You don't know. Could be.
You're going to be, if Arsenal comes in with me, I'm going to jump ship. It's like, let's just go to London. No, he'd be destined for Real Madrid. That's probably why they've done it.
Really, after Barcelona? I don't think he'd go to Real Madrid, would he?
Probably would go back to Spain, to be honest. I can't see him going back to Barca. Hansi Flick's got that for a while. I think that job. Like, if he goes back to Spain, that'd be the place probably he's going to go to.
What about Jurgen Klopp? Can you imagine if he just was like, actually, I will?
Hey, problem is, you just said you don't want him. You don't want to be someone that's been out of the game for too long.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Two seasons.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But that would be one. Well,
can you imagine if he was just like, I'm going to Arsenal?
That would be good for you, but it won't last very long.
And it would take 2 or 3 years.
Well, it showed him at Liverpool. It took him 3 years to finally get up to speed, or 2 years, and then they was running their socks off. And then it got to the 5th or 6th year, they was knackered. And they couldn't run no more because they just kept the same team.
I think football, to me, is still very similar. If you look at most teams, everyone plays very similarly. The narrative will always be set on certain teams and stuff like that, but everyone is very similar. Even if, like, somebody came into this football club that was like, oh yeah, they've done really, really well with this team because they played this certain style. It won't translate into the Premier League because it just won't. And that's why I think football is very similar, regardless of who you have as a manager.
It's all down to formation, a lot of it, I think. Because I honestly think if Palace's next manager needs to needs to be a manager that plays 5 at the back. Because our team is suited for that and sorted for it, so he doesn't have to change much. Arsenal, you play like sort of the 3 behind the striker. You need someone that's going to do that, or he's going to have to come in and change everything to get you over the line. And you won't like that at first because you'll end up shipping goals, but at the same time, you'll probably score a lot more goals.
Yeah.
And Gyökeres, you need Gyökeres to start firing.
Yeah.
And I think him being isolated in the Premier League, he can do that in Portugal.
Not just him.
But in the Premier League, he can't.
All of our strikers. Strikers are there to score goals. I don't know what they...
No, but I'm saying he playing on his own, he needs someone up there with him that's an actual striker.
Yeah, but this is it. It's like Havertz starts, and it's like, come on, what are you doing? Like, score a goal.
But he's not really a striker. That's the problem.
But he was made
into a striker from Chelsea. We know.
But they will.
How long Chelsea destroy strikers.
Like, come on.
Yeah, but so does all midfielders, which he is. But that's what I mean. You need someone to not have him isolated.
I think was during Timber getting injured.
But how long was he out for?
Ben White was there. I just don't. He had so many problems. But yeah, I think during Timber getting injured, there was a big problem. Big problem for us because we just.
Ben White's
not the whole right side, right? It was Saka and during Timber. It's just like that's the whole right side. All right, we've got White and Madueke, but to me,
and Madueke's done well for you.
They're not the same level as Saka and during Timber, and the way they work together and defensively and stuff like
that. Saka got injured, but before that, he couldn't hit a fucking barn door.
No, but his defensive work with during Timber was on point.
Defensive, yeah. Madueke can't defend for save his life.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But like going forward, Madueke's had the output and the input for what you needed. Saka hasn't.
Yeah, but
and then he got injured.
That's fine, but what Saka was asked to do in his position, he done really well with during Timber. I don't think he has.
With Saka, I think he needs to be told, play with freedom. Let Timber do the work. Tell Timber to stay back, do defensive work, and let Saka have a free role on that right hand side. Do whatever you want.
Okay.
Because I think that'll work for you. If you're giving him on the free role, you do whatever he wants. I think that unhooks any lock that he's stuck to doing anything. And he got the freedom to play the football.
I just don't think that happens in the Premier League, personally.
Happens. Every team's got a player that sort of unlocked to do whatever they want.
They still fall into formation when defending.
But needed to, yeah. But it's just more the freedom to then when you're out, you're ready to go out, you could be anywhere around the pitch instead of stuck on that right hand side with Timber.
Okay, cool.
So that's my idea. Anyway, well, listen, just bring in Graham Potter when Sweden go out in the World Cup.
Can't believe they made it.
I don't think
imagine being like one of the international teams. It's like, we've just gone through this whole thing and Sweden have got in it because of the Nation League's role.
Yeah.
Incredible.